Hi everyone, Donovan here. In this video, we're going to learn about forces, and we're going to learn that by actually allowing our bullet to fly across the screen whenever we shoot. Okay, so if I go back to my events, what I want to do is actually create another action underneath where my bullet is being created, right? So I don't need a whole new event, I just need a new action. And the actions kind of get run one at a time. So for example, here where I deleted coin, later on, I'm going to add a score. So I'm going to say score plus 10 or whatever. So what it'll do is it'll delete coin, then add the score. Okay, so I'm doing something similar. I'm adding another action here. I'm going to add an action, and I want to search for a force. Now, when you're having a look at forces, you're going to see a whole bunch of different options. Some that has this common actions underneath it, some that has physics engine deprecated, and some that has physics engine 2.0. So don't worry about all the physics engines for now, because you added enough physics to your main character already. We'll just keep it simple with the common actions, because that's what you're going to be using 99% of the time to move stuff. Now, you have 4 different options, and depending on how you want to shoot or what you're actually trying to move, each of these might be slightly different, right? You may have to use one of these. So at a force with an angle, you actually have to allocate it an angle. So for example, I don't know, if I'm shooting an arrow up into the air and then I want it to come back down, I want to give it, an angle of 45 degrees or whatever, and it shoots up into the air. And then I also want to add some gravity later on to the arrow so that it falls back down. Okay, so that's at an angle. Now you can move a force towards an object. So you'll just have the object that's going to be the bullet, and then the object that you want to move towards to. So for example, your main boss, it might be shooting bullets, and those bullets might be flying directly toward your main character, right? So your main character will be the target object, and then automatically once it shoots, it'll move toward your character. And then you want to add a force to move toward a position. This one I've never actually used myself, but essentially you may have a set position. So say you have a moving platform and you might want it to move somewhere and then move back. You can give it an X and Y position there. And then you just have add a force by itself, and this is the simplest one. This is what you'll use for your bullet. So I'm going to click on object. Well, most of you will use for your bullet. It's up to you what you actually use. I'm going to choose the bullet. Then I have to give it a speed on your x-axis, which remember goes left and right, and a speed on your y-axis, which goes up and down, right? I don't want my bullet to go up and down, so my y-axis will just be 0. So it stays at the same y position. Then I have to add a x value, which is how fast I want it to move left and right. I'm just going to say like 100. You can come back and change this at any time if it's going too slow or too fast. Now, next underneath, you have 2 different options, instant or permanent. Instant will add that force just once, right? So for example, if my character runs into a trap and I want it to be like thrown back a certain amount, I'll use instant, because you'll only add it once, and then your character gets forced backward, and then the game just continues. But for my bullet, I want it to continue moving at that 100 forever, so I'm going to choose permanent. Then I'm going to hit OK. So now when I press play, I shoot, and my bullet flies across the screen. It's definitely going a little bit too slow. I want to speed that up, so I can just go and change it later. That's it for this video.